Parker Schnabel finally stood in front of the vault he had kept closed for years. This was not a normal storage room used for tools or spare parts. It was reinforced, newer than anything else on the claim, and always locked. Many people had noticed it in the background of the show, but Parker never explained it. Now he was ready to confirm what had been hidden inside. The air was quiet, and the crew sensed that this moment was serious. Parker was not smiling. He looked calm but heavy, like someone carrying a long-held burden. Parker explained that the vault was never about hiding money or protecting gold from theft. He said the gold everyone saw mined on the show was only part of his story. What was inside the vault came from his grandfather, John Schnabel, and it carried a meaning far deeper than profit. He admitted that he had kept it hidden because he did not fully understand it himself for a long time. Only recently did he realize that the truth could no longer stay locked away. When Parker opened the vault, the crew saw shelves lined with sealed containers, old crates and envelopes that looked untouched for decades. But what drew the most attention was a heavy steel case bolted to the floor. It was scratched and worn, like it had traveled a long distance before ever reaching the claim. On the case was a symbol that did not belong to modern mining. Parker confirmed that this symbol came from his grandfather and had never been shown to the public before. Parker knelt down and explained that his grandfather gave him this case near the end of his life. John Schnabel told him to keep it sealed until he truly understood the cost of gold. For years, Parker did not open it. He focused on mining, building his operation, breaking records, and proving himself. But last season, something changed him. He said he reached a point where success no longer felt complete, and that pushed him to finally face what his grandfather left behind. Inside the case were old journals, photographs wrapped in cloth, metal tubes sealed with wax, and a thick leather-bound ledger. Beneath all of that was a gold bar unlike anything seen on the claim. It was not shaped like modern gold bars and did not match local gold. It was carved with strange markings and an old crest pressed into one corner. Parker confirmed that this gold was not from his mining operation. A historian brought in to examine the bar explained that the markings were very old and did not match known Yukon mining symbols. The gold was purer than typical placer gold and had likely been refined somewhere else long before it reached this land. Parker then confirmed what he had never said before. The gold inside the vault was found by his grandfather decades ago from a source John never fully explained. Parker shared that his grandfather believed the gold did not belong to the land or to any claim. It belonged to a group of people who traveled through the region long before modern mining. According to the journals, these people were fleeing danger. They carried gold not as wealth, but as protection and survival. They hid it along their path, leaving symbols so only those who knew the meaning could follow it. As Parker read from the journals, the tone shifted from discovery to fear. His grandfather wrote about being followed, about strange questions from outsiders, and about feeling watched. One journal entry described a trusted associate who died suddenly after learning about the gold. After that, John Schnabel never spoke of it again. He hid the evidence and chose silence over attention. Parker admitted that for years he did not want to inherit that fear. He wanted strength, not secrets. But everything changed when a man approached him. At a mining event overseas, the man spoke about family legacies, hidden histories, and gold that did not belong to the land it was found on. He mentioned the Schnabel name. That night, Parker opened the case for the first time. Inside, he found multiple gold bars, journals, and a hand-drawn map. There was also a sealed letter addressed directly to him. When Parker read the letter aloud, it explained everything his grandfather never said out loud. The letter warned that the gold was not treasure, it was evidence. Evidence of people who hid knowledge and wealth to survive persecution. Evidence that could still attract dangerous attention. The letter warned Parker not to trust anyone who already recognized the symbols. It said that if the trail ever resurfaced, others would come looking for it. Parker said this was the moment he realized the vault was not just storage, it was a responsibility. He explained that hiding the truth forever was no longer possible once others had started asking questions. The map inside the vault pointed to a canyon his grandfather described in the journals. On the map, a red mark was drawn with the words written beneath it, "The rest is still there." Parker confirmed that the vault did not contain the biggest secret, the land did. And now that the truth was known, they had no choice but to return to that place. When the crew followed the map, they searched near a river bend that matched the journal entries. After hours of careful work, they found a buried container beneath the riverbed. Inside was another chest marked with the same crest. This confirmed that the vault was part of a much larger network of hidden caches, not a single discovery. Inside the second chest were journals written in languages no one recognized and sealed parchment scrolls protected by wax. These were not items meant for sale, they were records, histories and knowledge preserved by people who believed the wilderness would protect what the world could not. A historian explained that if these documents were real, their value would not be measured in money, but in history. As the discovery spread, unfamiliar people began watching the claim. Vehicles appeared on nearby ridges. Later, representatives from an international institute arrived, claiming the items belonged to global heritage and should be taken away. Parker refused. He stated clearly that the relics were found legally and would be protected properly, not seized under pressure. The visitors warned him that others would come. Parker understood then that secrecy was no longer protection. By opening the vault, he had invited the world in. But he did not regret it. He said the truth, documented carefully, was stronger than silence. He chose transparency, responsibility, and respect for the past. Parker closed the vault that night knowing everything had changed. The gold was no longer just gold. It was proof of lives, journeys, and sacrifices made long before his family ever mined the Yukon. He said his grandfather did not fear gold itself, he feared what gold could bring when its story was ignored. Parker confirmed that what he hid inside his claim vault was not wealth meant to make him richer, it was a legacy meant to make him wiser. It was history asking to be protected, not exploited. And now that it was revealed, Parker accepted the responsibility that came with it, knowing the consequences were real and still unfolding. The vault remains locked, but its secret is no longer hidden. Parker Schnabel finally confirmed the truth, not for attention, but because the weight of history can no longer stay buried forever. Parker stayed near the vault long after the others stepped away. The cold air moved through the claim, and the lights from the equipment cast long shadows across the ground. Inside the vault, the items rested quietly, but their meaning felt louder than any machine on the site. Parker said this was the first time he truly understood why his grandfather had chosen silence. Some things, once known, can never be taken back. He explained that growing up, he always believed mining was about hard work, risk, and reward. Gold was a goal, a measure of success. But what his grandfather left behind changed that belief. The journals showed that gold could also be a burden. It could attract danger, stir conflict, and pull people into struggles they never asked for. John Schnabel understood this long before Parker did. Parker spoke about the pressure his grandfather must have felt carrying that secret alone. At the time, there were no cameras, no teams of experts, no protection. John was just a miner who stumbled into something much bigger than himself. Instead of chasing profit, he chose to protect the truth by hiding it. Parker said that choice likely saved lives, including his own family's. As days passed, the claim remained under watch. Rangers and local authorities helped secure the area, not because of gold theft, but because of what the documents represented. Historians carefully examined the journals, confirming that many references did not match known records. This meant parts of history may have been lost, hidden, or erased, and now slowly returning to light. Parker made it clear that he would not rush any decision.
He refused offers to sell, display, or move the items without proper study. He said that fast choices driven by excitement were what caused mistakes in the past. His goal was to protect the truth, not to control it or use it for gain. The crew noticed a change in Parker after the vault was opened. He was still focused, still driven, but quieter. He listened more. He asked questions instead of giving orders. It was clear that leadership now meant more than running machines and hitting targets. It meant protecting people, history, and trust. Parker also addressed the rumors spreading online. He said many stories exaggerated the truth, turning it into fantasy. There were no curses, no magic, and no promises of endless riches. What existed was real human history, shaped by fear, survival, and movement across the world. He asked people to respect that difference. He confirmed that the canyon marked on the map would not be mined like a normal site. Any exploration would be slow, careful, and guided by experts. If the land held more evidence, it would be handled with respect. Parker said that some places are not meant to be stripped for profit, but understood. The vault itself became a symbol on the claim, not of secrecy, but of responsibility. The crew knew that working near it meant being part of something larger than mining. Even the sounds of the claim felt different, quieter, more controlled. Parker reflected on what success truly meant. He said breaking gold records no longer felt as important as honoring the trust his grandfather placed in him. The real test was not how much gold he could pull from the ground, but how well he could protect what should never be lost again. As winter settled deeper into the Yukon, the claim slowed, but the work around the vault continued. Documents were preserved, notes were taken, and plans were made carefully. Parker stayed involved in every step, refusing to hand responsibility to anyone else. He confirmed that this story was not finished. What was hidden for generations would take time to fully understand. Some answers might never come, but he believed that facing the truth was better than living around it. In the end, Parker said his grandfather gave him more than a mining operation. He gave him a lesson about restraint, respect, and courage. Courage not to chase everything that shines, and strength to protect what cannot be replaced. The claim vault no longer holds just objects. It holds a reminder that gold can build futures, but truth defines them. Parker Schnabel finally confirmed what he hid inside, and in doing so accepted a role far greater than miner. He became a guardian of a story that waited patiently to be told. As time went on, Parker began to understand that opening the vault was only the first step. What followed was not excitement, but responsibility. Each document, each marking, and each map required care. Experts worked slowly, taking notes and photos, making sure nothing was damaged. Parker stayed close, watching, listening, learning. He did not rush them, and he did not push for answers before they were ready. He spoke openly with the crew about why he chose to share the truth now. He said the world had changed. Secrets no longer stay buried forever. Someone always talks, someone always notices. By telling the story himself, Parker believed he could protect it better than if it were dragged into the open by rumors or outsiders with their own goals. The crew respected that choice. They had worked beside Parker for years and knew he was not someone who chased attention. If he had hidden something, there was always a reason. Now they saw that reason clearly. This was not about fame or shock. It was about carrying something forward the right way. Parker also admitted that he struggled with doubt after opening the vault. Some nights he wondered if keeping it hidden would have been easier. Life before the vault felt simpler. Mine the ground, fix the machines, hit the goal. But once the truth was known, it could not be unknown. He said that growth often comes with discomfort, and this was his. The journals continued to reveal small details, names without full histories, routes without clear endings, symbols repeated across different pages. The pattern suggested movement, escape, and fear. These were not records made by people who felt safe. They were written by people trying to survive and protect something they believed mattered more than their own comfort. Parker said this helped him see mining differently. Every piece of land has a story long before machines arrive. Gold does not appear for one generation alone. It passes through time, touching many lives. Forgetting that history makes it easy to take without thought. As interest grew, Parker set firm boundaries. No one entered the vault without permission, no filming of the documents without specific agreement. He wanted to protect the truth from exploitage and care-up. Parker also clarified his relationship with John. He said their differences were often exaggerated for the show. They did argue, yes, but they also listened. Parker gave John credit for teaching him about patience and foresight. Yes, John was tough on the cameras, but he was also wise in supportive circles. He said that guidance now made him a better leader. The crew noticed that Parker's demeanor had shifted from focused to calmer. He made decisions more deliberately and listened to their opinions more openly. He explained that his goal was now not just to meet gold numbers, but to honor the history he had uncovered. He imagined his grandfather watching him and knew that he was trusted to carry this forward the right way. This change also affected the work on the claim. The area around the vault became quieter, more respected, and even more secure. The experts continued their examination, reconstructing small parts of the past one piece at a time. Each photo, each map detail revealed more about how people moved and survived. They did not just travel eastward, they scattered, changing directions often, leaving decoys and false trails. This suggested that they were being pursued, not just traveling freely. Parker knew this added layers to the story and committed to protecting it. He emphasized that he wouldn't hand control of the documents to anyone for any reason. He felt the responsibility weighed heavily, but he accepted it willingly. As the first days of discovery turned into weeks, it was clear that Parker had grown more than a mining operation. He had grown himself. He had faced an unexpected test and emerged with a deeper understanding of leadership, purpose, and responsibility. The story of the vault was not finished, it was just beginning. And in the process, Parker Schnabel became the guardian of an important legacy, a story that waited patiently for the right person to tell it.
Documents without approval. No release of information without confirmation. He said this was not secrecy for power, but control for protection. Once information is released, it cannot be pulled back. Some people criticized him, saying he should hand everything over immediately. Others accused him of hiding value. Parker responded calmly. He said rushing decisions had caused harm throughout history. Slowing down was not avoidance, it was respect. The claim itself remained active, but the pace felt steadier. There was less shouting, fewer rushed moves. The crew followed procedures more closely. It was as if the presence of the vault reminded everyone that mistakes can last longer than profits. Parker spent more time alone, often walking the edges of the claim in the evening. He said those walks helped him think. The land felt older now, heavier with meaning. Places he once saw only as work sites now felt connected to the past in ways he had never noticed. He spoke again about his grandfather. John Schnabel was not perfect. He made hard choices, some driven by fear, but he also showed restraint when it mattered most. Parker said that lesson stayed with him more than any mining advice ever did. As winter deepened, activity around the vault slowed, but the weight of its presence remained. The documents were secured, the gold protected, and the maps stored carefully. Nothing moved without purpose. Parker made it clear that if this story was ever told fully, it would be done with care, not drama. He confirmed once more that what he hid inside his claim vault was never meant to be a surprise for the world. It was meant to be a shield, a pause, a chance to do the right thing when the time came. That time, he believed, had finally arrived. Parker accepted that some answers might bring challenges, others might bring conflict. But avoiding truth does not erase it. Facing it with respect gives it a chance to settle without harm. The vault stands today not as a symbol of secrecy, but of choice. A choice to protect history, to slow down,
and to listen to the past before shaping the future. Parker Schnabel did not just reveal what was hidden inside his claim vault, he revealed how much responsibility can rest behind a single locked door. As the weeks passed, Parker noticed how the story had begun to change him from the inside. He was still committed to mining, still focused on the work, but his sense of purpose had widened. Gold was no longer the final measure of success. Doing the right thing, even when it was difficult or misunderstood, now mattered just as much. He said this was something his grandfather tried to teach without ever saying it directly. The crew began to speak more openly among themselves about the vault and what it represented. There was no fear, but there was awareness. They understood that they were standing on land shaped by more than machines and contracts. The Yukon had always been wild and demanding, but now it felt layered with stories that ran deeper than anyone had imagined. Parker held several private meetings with historians and legal experts. These were not shown, and he did not share details. He only confirmed that any future steps would be taken carefully and with respect for the land, the people connected to the history, and the laws that protect cultural discoveries. He did not want this to become a fight over ownership. He wanted it to be about understanding. He admitted that part of him still felt conflicted. The miner in him wanted clear answers and solid ground, but the guardian he was becoming understood that some truths take time. Rushing them only creates damage. He said patience was not weakness, it was discipline. The gold bars remained sealed and untouched. They were documented, but not moved. Parker said they would stay where they were until every voice that needed to be heard had been heard. He did not want history rewritten by haste or pride. One evening, Parker shared a quiet moment with the crew near the vault. He told them that his grandfather once said the land remembers how it is treated. At the time, Parker thought it was just an old saying. Now he believed it. He said respect leaves fewer scars than greed. The outside world continued to speculate. Stories spread, some true, many false. Parker chose not to respond to most of them. He said noise fades, but truth stays. Letting the story settle was part of protecting it. As spring approached, Parker looked ahead with clarity. Mining would continue. The claim would move forward, but the vault would remain a place of care, not conquest. It would not be used for shock or spectacle. He confirmed one final time that what he hid inside his claim vault was not meant to change his image or his career. It was meant to honor a promise made long ago by a man who understood the danger of being careless with history. Parker said that some legacies are built with gold, but the strongest ones are built with restraint. The vault stands as proof
of that choice. A quiet reminder that not everything valuable is meant to be taken, and not every secret is meant to stay buried forever. As the season moved forward, Parker found himself thinking more about the future than the past. What had been uncovered in the vault was not only about what once happened, but about what should happen next. He understood that his decisions would affect more than just his claim. They would affect how people viewed responsibility, history, and ownership in places shaped by hardship and survival. Parker spoke about how easy it is to forget that mining changes the land forever. Every cut, every wash, every ounce taken leaves a mark. Seeing the journals and maps made him more aware of that truth. The people who hid those items trusted the land to protect them. That trust deserved respect, not careless action. The crew noticed Parker slowing down certain operations near sensitive areas. It was not about fear of losing gold, it was about understanding the weight of what lay beneath the surface. Parker explained that sometimes the smartest move is knowing where not to dig. He also reflected on leadership. Before, leadership meant decisions made fast, under pressure. Now, it meant knowing when to pause. He said true leadership is not proven by how much you take, but by what you choose to leave untouched. The vault became a quiet place, not forbidden, but respected. Those who entered did so with purpose. There was no excitement, no boasting, just focus.
The items inside were treated less like objects and more like voices from another time. Parker said he no longer felt alone carrying the secret. Sharing it, even carefully, lifted a weight he had carried since his grandfather passed. The burden was now shared, and with that came clarity. Silence had protected the truth for a time, but honesty would protect it going forward. As spring light returned to the Yukon, Parker stood once more outside the vault. He said he felt his grandfather there, not in memory, but in